Today we're going to learn to compare and contrast by using familiar texts. So in today's lesson, you're going to learn that the most interesting compare and contrast ideas are the ones that go beneath the surface traits to deeper relationships. One can say, these texts are alike because they both contain the words blah blah blah. Boring. Everyone can see the obvious ways two texts are alike. On the other hand, one of the greatest ways to have a book talk is to wrestle with how two literary texts address the same theme or include similar characters, but do so differently. Today we're going to read along with a book called Stand Tall, Molly Lou Mellon by Patti LaBelle, illustrated by David Catrow. Pause the video while you read this book. When you're finished, click play and continue. Welcome back. Now that you've read about Molly Lou Mellon, we're going to compare it to another book we know very well, Amazing Grace. So when we're comparing two books, we should ask questions about both books to compare and contrast them. So what can we ask? Well, we could compare characters, character traits, problems they have, solutions, themes, morals, writing styles even. We already dug a little deeper into Amazing Grace, so we know the character of Grace very well. Can we dig deeper into Molly Lou Mellon? It's a little bit more of a simplistic kids book. However, there's a lot to learn about Molly Lou. We can ask ourselves the same questions that we ask of all characters. What's your character like and how do you know? What traits do they possess? What motivates your character? What struggles do they have? Do they change over time? What relationships do they have, and are they good or bad influences? These character questions pair up with how do you know? You need to provide evidence. What are you seeing in the book that gives you the impression the character is like this? So let's talk about the obvious things we know about our character Molly Lou. The author told us she's short because she stood just taller than her dog. That's pretty short. The author also said she had buck teeth that stuck out so far she could stack pennies on them. The author said her voice sounded like a bullfrog being squeezed by a boa constrictor, so obviously that's bad. And the author said she was fumble-fingered, so she's clumsy. The author is flat out telling us these characteristics about Molly Lou Mellon. But what is the author not saying about her? This is the part where we really need to dig deep to figure out who Molly Lou Mellon really is. Today your assignment is going to be two parts. The first part is digging deeper into Molly Lou Mellon. In order to do that, I'm going to help you answer these questions by asking you more questions. You're going to figure out what the author didn't tell you about Molly Lou Mellon and find some evidence for how do you know. Why does Molly Lou Mellon's grandma always give her advice about her appearance and her abilities? Why does Molly Lou Mellon take her grandma's advice without question? Why does Molly Lou Mellon not tell Ronald Durkin to stop or talk nicely and stop bullying her? Does Molly Lou Mellon change over the course of the book? What do you think Molly Lou Mellon thinks about moving? What do you think she feels about going to a new school? How do you know she feels, or what she feels, about Ronald Durkin? Is Molly Lou Mellon really fumble-fingered? What motivates Molly Lou Mellon? Why does she act the way she does? And what relationships does Molly Lou Mellon have? Are they good, or are they bad influences? After you answer these questions for part 1 of your assignment, you'll move on to part 2. Part 2 is where we actually start to compare both books. So now that we know a little bit more about Molly Lou and about Grace from Amazing Grace, we can start to compare their characteristics, their traits, their problems, their solutions, their morals or themes in the book, and maybe even the writing styles of the authors. Here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see comparison about Amazing Grace and Molly Lou that is simple. Sure, they're both girls. Sure, they both have problems at school. And sure, both has a grandma. It's too simple, and it's boring. We need to use those skills that we have found for digging deeper. We want to compare the deeper sides of Grace and Molly Lou Mellon. Now it's your turn. Give a deeper comparison of Grace and Molly Lou. Remember, tell how you know your information. Include examples, even quotes from the book that give you a clue as to who they are and why they compare to each other. Off you go!